So Mortal Engines. No, this is just a bit. I'm not going to do the whole review like. So Mortal Engines. This is a new movie from the house of Peter Jackson, who has given us beautiful epic fantasies like the Lord of the Rings franchise, which is a multi-Oscar winning movie. Does this movie Mortal Engines live up to the expectations, or should we even have those same expectations that we have with the Lord of the Rings franchise? Let's find out in this full review of Mortal Engines. By the way, before we begin, if this is your first time here, in case you just can't remember, my name is Puneet and you're watching the Afterthoughts Network. Let's get to it. So Mortal Engines is a new movie based on the book by same name from the house of Peter Jackson. But this movie is not directed by Peter Jackson, it's directed by Christian Rivers, who was actually the lead visual effects guy for Peter Jackson when he was doing the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit franchises. So he knows a bit about filmmaking. But what does he actually know? We find out in this movie. By the way, this movie stars Robert Sheehan, Hugo Weaving, Hera Hilmar, Jihae, and even Stephen Lang. I mean, it has two of the most talented actors present in this movie. There are also other characters, but let's get talking about the movie. I mean, first, let's get to the acting. The acting was pretty decent from all the actors, but yes, Stephen Lang and Hugo Weaving give some amazing performances, even though their characters are basically one-note characters. There's not a lot of character development in any of the characters, be it the lead guy, be it the lead girl, anyone. There's no character development. For the most part, there is some and with some characters, but come on. Now coming to the story, the movie is actually based on the books by the same name, which I must say is too little too late, because this movie should have released like 5 to 6 years ago when there was the actual hype from the Mortal Engines franchise. But koi baat nahi, der aaye durust aaye. So where this movie actually falters is the direction and storytelling. Don't get me wrong, I really like this movie, and it has some amazing set pieces done beautifully, and the world building and the craftsmanship that has gone is wonderful to watch. But where the movie falls is the direction and the characterizations. I mean, all the characters are one note, as I said earlier, and the direction and the storytelling of this movie is basically showing that this is actually directed by a first-time director. But when you come to the action set pieces and the world that has been created for you on the screen, I mean, at that time, you don't actually see it as a movie by a first-time director. And that time is the movie that really shines. And that is what we were expecting for the whole length of the movie, but we do not get that for the whole length. The storytelling is a bit wonky. I mean, the basic gist is it's a post-apocalyptic world, which we have seen many times. So this is basically a paint by numbers YA post-apocalyptic story. So basically in this whole post-apocalyptic world, we get all the cities, the settlements have basically wiped out. And now we have these moving giant cities, which are basically like big cities. They are mobile, they move entire cities, and then they capture smaller cities and to take their resources just to survive. And the smaller cities band together, or they try to hunt even smaller cities. So that's basically the premise of the story. And then there's this girl, this female character, who has some personal vendetta for going against London and the leader of London, which is played by Hugo Weaving. So that is the basic gist of the story. But yes, all the subplots that have been going on in this movie are really unnecessary and weren't developed any further. So all the opportunities that were created throughout the storyline were actually lost when the movie ended. And I don't think this movie is going to make enough money so that we can expect a sequel. I mean, it should deserve a sequel because some of the things have been done so beautifully that you actually feel the scale and the scope of what is going on. I mean, London has been crafted so beautifully onto the screen that you actually feel that you are a part of this world. You see the inner workings of the city, you see the inner workings of smaller cities, how they band together, how they move, all the mechanisms that are involved in it, what is the hierarchy of the society. You get to see everything in that. Yes, there are some illogical Easter eggs thrown here and there, but that's to be expected from any movie of this scale. But yes, you get to feel that you are part of this world. I mean, the tracks that are left by the moving London, they're so huge, and you actually feel that because the visual effects guy, Christian Rivers, he has crafted some so beautiful scenes that what happens is that the framing is done from the top. There are huge wide angle sweeping shots that you get to see the whole view, and when you're looking down at London from the top, it seems very small, but when you dive deeper into it, you actually see how huge it is. And when people are walking in the tracks left by the movement of London, I mean, that time you actually get the scale. So all of this has been done beautifully. The set pieces are great. I mean, one of the best set pieces of the movie is actually in the starting 5 minutes of the movie that we see in the trailer. That was London hunting a smaller city. But there are other set pieces that have been done really well. And basically at the end of it, I got a feeling of like Avatar, the James Cameron one, and some other movies mixed into some epic scale Lord of the Rings type adventure, but none of it was fully accomplished. So yes, there are flaws in this movie, but I really like this movie and what they were trying to create. For the visuals, the visual effects, the craftsmanship, the cinematography alone, I would suggest that you should really go and watch this movie. Even if you are not interested in the story or the characters or the acting, you should really watch this movie for all of that. So this would really get a recommendation from me, and you should actually spend your time and your money on this movie because it's worth it, even if you won't be fully satisfied. So have you seen Mortal Engines? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, please write down in the comment section below so that I get to know what are your thoughts. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever a new video drops. Till that happens, my name is Puneet and you're watching the Afterthoughts Network. Bye bye.